It's a thinking or some ideas I've been working on a while, and it's actually the conference. What I will talk about is based on my last report for David Report, and it's about. I mean, we are more or less the whole world is in kind of in a recession, and we are not out of it yet, and a lot of people are starting to questioning kind of the consumption society, partly because they have less money, and also maybe they need some kind of a new resonance for their shopping, that they would like to have interact with brands that maybe are a little more listening to them and their needs and what they would like to do. And so it will evolve around that, and I would also try to provide a kind of a possible solution in 7 steps. Or how could you act as a brand or a designer or whatever in this kind of new world order to get a new nice relation with the consumer. So. I mean, I believe very much in a kind of cross-pollinating mind. I mean, I believe very much that the problems that we're facing today are far too complicated to like solve just with one single thought of mind. I think we really need to be open-minded and learn from different areas and bring them together and find new solutions. So that's what I'm trying to do. I mean, I do a lot of things. I write trend reports. I work with brands and do kind of ideation development things. I do different knowledge events. As you said, I'm very much into roses. I do a quite big rose event with a lot of thousands of people coming, and I guide and do lectures about old roses. And I play in a rock band. We are releasing an album now. So I think life is too short to have a boring time. I believe very much to do a lot of different things, because you learn, you could a little thing here, a little thing there, and it goes together. I think it's fun. I think for me it's fun, and I think it's enough for doing it. I mean, I get the question quite often, what is Scandinavian design? And I started to say, I don't think it exists any longer, because the world is so high speed, different. I mean, I think we share the same knowledge today in Scandinavia as you do here in Mexico City. It's actually happening with the new information technology. Things happen at the same time. But then, of course, we have a certain heritage from if you see today, the design we do is based like in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, where it was some kind of, the Scandinavian modernism was basing on function and the light wood and high quality. But I think it's also about, if you see Sweden as a society, our democratic situation, how that works, our social welfare system, how we are all allowed to walk everywhere in the forest, even if someone else owns it, and you can stay overnight in the woods for one night if you like. And I think it's a quite open society, and that brings a certain sort of design forward. So it's a combination of different things, I would say. Design, I think it's some kind of a hub that joins together business, society, mankind. I think it's something that I see design more kind of a process than just another cup or vase or chair. I mean, do we need another chair? I think design is something more. It's kind of if you talk about design thinking, it's a way to create order and push development forward. And actually, design is one of the greatest tools to make the world a better place for the many people, I would say. Miller Moon, I used to play, I mean, I've played in bands since like the early 80s, so like for a long time. And in the early 90s, we used to have a band called the Love Kings, and we were signed with EMI and did some records. And we sounded it. This was like at the same time as like Handy Bandits and Stone Roses, and that happened, you know, the Manchester wave in England. This was exactly the same time in Sweden. So we did sound like that. So Miller Moon is actually, we reformed that band, and we just changed drummer and singer, changed place more or less. So now we have made a recording with a quite good producer called Tore Johansson. He recorded like Franz Ferdinand, Cardigans, a Swedish man, because he's a friend, so he spent some time with us, which we're about to release now this autumn or early spring, which is really fun. It's a nice way to express yourself, and it's still very nice to, you know, to be in front of a 2-stack Marshall amplifier and play on 10. There's something nice with that as well. I live at a beautiful place in the southern part of Sweden called Falsterbo. It's a small, you could say, beach community, been kind of popular to go and spend vacation for the last 100 years. And it's surrounded, so it's a very nice culture. And it's surrounded with fantastic nature, and it's a lot of like reservoirs, it's called in English, I think, so it's protected areas. But this, I mean, if I go from there, this very beautiful countryside, I'm in Copenhagen airport in like 25 minutes. And this is a quite dynamic area. So it's a big pressure of development, which of course it's interesting. But I think when we do this kind of development in this very beautiful area, it's very important to really take in consideration the history and the tradition and build from that and really make the value of nature and culture even higher and continue to build on what's like been there for 1,000 years. So for the last like 6-7 years I've been in the Nature Conservation Organization, and for 2 years I've been the president. And I think that's interesting to work both on this very little local scale, and as now I'm here talking with you in Mexico on the global scale. I think that's kind of the beauty of the world. Quite a lot of, not necessarily Swedish novels and poetry. I'm very open for I mean, I came from San Francisco yesterday, so of course I went to the City Light bookstore and the Beat Museum, because when I was in my early 20s, I was very much into all this kind of beat poetry, which I still think is quite interesting. So yeah, I do. I'm actually writing a book myself at the moment, which is probably the name will be 7 Steps to Heaven, which is this part, as I mentioned in the beginning, the kind of solution to the situation we are facing today. It's like 7 steps how to act in a holistical way to make things good, and that's will hopefully turn. I'm writing the book, and then I have to find some kind of a publisher that are interested to release it. Okay, hello. What I see actually here, it says Gandhi on the top. So actually I would like to say a quote from Gandhi, which he once said, and that is, "Be the change you would like to see in the world."